What if pain isn't the problem, but actually the pathway back to you? You're listening to The Leadership Wound, From Pain to Permission. I'm Amanda Rohrer, your host and founder of Authentically You, coaching for embodied spiritual living and leading. This is where we get honest about the real cost of leadership, the burnout, the pretending, the rejection, and the return to your authentic self. Because this isn't about performance, it's about permission. Welcome to the leader you've always been.
Because chances are you probably already know where you're supposed to be going. The question is, will you trust yourself enough to take the step forward? Your story matters. Your voice matters. The world needs what you have to offer. Welcome to The Leadership Wound, where we talk about the hidden costs of leadership and how we can move from pain to permission. I'm Amanda Rohrer, your host, coach, and companion on this journey of healing, transformation, and wholehearted leadership. Today marks the final episode in this 5-part series, and we're closing with this. You don't need permission to say yes. Not from your boss, not from your denomination, not from your best friend, your team, or your former self. You don't need someone else to validate what God has already placed in you. And before we dive in, let me say this. These episodes were never meant to be long or packed with information. You get enough of that elsewhere. This space was created as a pause, a sacred invitation to slow down, to reflect, and to tell the truth about what's really happening beneath the surface. Because the hidden cost of leadership isn't just about what you do. It's about what you carry and what you ignore and what you no longer want to deny. So let's take a deep breath and go there together. Here's the truth. No one knows you better than you. I've said it over and over to the staff I've led before. No one can take care of you better than you can take care of yourself. You've lived every moment of your story. You've carried every wound and wrestled with every decision. You've sensed the stirring before anyone else noticed a shift. So why do we wait? Why do we wait for others to say we're ready? Why do we wait for a green light that may never come? And why do we wait to be picked instead of walking in what we've already been entrusted with? Now, I'm not trying to say that we don't stop and seek wisdom. We should seek wisdom and counsel. We should surround ourselves with mentors and truth tellers. We should pause to discern and use caution. But let's not confuse wisdom with the need for permission. Wisdom equips you. Permission, when outsourced, disempowers you though. So yes, be thoughtful, but don't let someone else's lack of clarity become your excuse to stay stuck. Brené Brown says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. That can't happen if we're waiting on others to define our path. Simon Sinek put it plainly, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. When we're waiting for someone else to give us permission, we lose alignment with our why. And without your why, leadership becomes exhausting. And your why, your clarity, your yes, that can never come from someone else. For me, this all came to a head after I left my last leadership role. I knew something new was stirring, but I kept delaying, waiting for someone to say, this is a good idea, waiting for a plan to feel perfectly safe, until I realized that person wasn't coming. And maybe that's the whole point. We're not meant to lead from consensus. We're meant to lead from conviction. When I finally stopped waiting and said yes to coaching, to creating space for others, something broke open. And everything that's come true from it, this podcast, my business, freedom, it all started when I stopped asking for permission and I gave it to myself. Let's remember where we've come from as we try to recap this whole series. The first episode talked about why motivation isn't enough and how it's overrated. You don't need more hype, you just need clarity. We talked about getting clear on your why. That extended into the next episode when we said, you don't have to wait until you're brave. Courage begins with the first yes. As we continued on, we talked about momentum over motivation, how tiny steps create real shifts. How when we stop waiting for motivation and choose movement, we live out our authentic self. The next episode talked about how action can be alignment and how leadership becomes lighter when our actions flow from our values and not from our fears. And today in this last episode, we're talking about how you don't need permission to say yes. That's where we're ending, with the freedom to move forward, not because it's perfect, because it's true and it's time. And so I want to lead you through a reflection exercise. Take a deep breath, close your eyes if you're not driving, and ask yourself, where am I waiting for someone else to tell me I'm ready? What am I delaying in? Not because I'm unclear or haven't sought out wisdom, but because I'm afraid. And what would it feel like if today was the day that you gave yourself permission to be your authentic self, to take micro steps, small baby ones, in the direction that God is leading you? What would that feel like? Because chances are you probably already know where you're supposed to be going. The question is, will you trust yourself enough to take the step forward? This whole series was never meant just to inspire you. It was meant to activate you and give you the courage to finally say yes, to stir your spirit, to name what you've been trying to express, and to remind you of what you've forgotten. And that is, your story matters. Your voice matters. The world needs what you have to offer. And none of us are in competition with each other. God has given each of us gifts, talents, resources to use for His kingdom, to use to advance it, and to use so that you can authentically be showing His glory to the world. Your yes matters. Remember, authenticity is found in the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and giving permission to ourselves to embrace who God has already called us to be. So if you're ready to stop waiting and finally say yes to that version of yourself, as I've said all along, I'd love to walk with you in that journey and help you build a plan that reflects your clarity, your convictions, and your calling. You can find all the details at authenticallyyou.org of how I coach individuals through this exact thing. Because the moment you stop waiting for permission is the moment you begin to lead from your truest self. Thanks again for walking with me in the Leadership Wound podcast, especially in this most recent series. If this series moved you, share it with another leader who might need the exact encouragement that you received. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. And grab your free morning meditation at my website, where you can discover more soul-aligned coaching resources. Until next time, lead like you.